I I had no idea what was about to happen. No clue, not even a whisper of a warning. And then, the door opened. My heart nearly skipped a beat as I looked up, frozen, at the figure standing in the doorway. The one person I never expected to see at this moment. My stepson. You might think it's easy to brush something like this off to say, it's just a misunderstanding, or you've read too much into it. But when you find yourself in a situation where everything shifts, everything changes in a split second. There's no turning back. When he walked in, I could feel the air around us crackle, the kind of tension that makes your skin tingle. I told myself I wasn't ready. But could anyone ever be? I had just come back from a long day, one of those days that drags you down with its weight. I needed space. I needed quiet. I needed control. But control slipped right out of my hands the moment I saw him standing there, like a ghost, half in the shadows, half bathed in the soft light filtering through the window. Why was he there? I didn't expect to see him. His father, my husband, was out for the night, and the house was supposed to be calm, quiet, safe. But here he was, and I couldn't take my eyes off him, not for a second. He wasn't supposed to be here. He had every right to be in the house, but not here, in this room, not this close. There's a line you never cross, a line that, once crossed, changes everything. And I didn't know if I was ready to face what happened when that line was blurred. I had always seen him as just my husband's son, just a teenager, going through the motions of life. But tonight, he wasn't just my stepson. My mind tried to scream at me. It's not what you think. It can't be. No, not him. But the room felt smaller with every passing second. His eyes were too intense, like he could see through me. Like I wasn't just a woman, a wife. Like I was something else entirely. I could feel my pulse picking up speed, my breath catching in my throat. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. His voice was low, almost like a whisper, but it hit me harder than anything. I didn't know what to say. I should have said something. Anything. But I was paralyzed by this strange, undeniable pull between us. For a second, time stood still. His eyes didn't leave mine, and I couldn't pull away. I wanted to speak. I wanted to scream, to ask him what he was doing in my room. But the words were trapped. The silence stretched between us, thick and heavy, until he spoke again. Dad's not home, right? The question hit me like a wave. A question that made my pulse race faster than I ever expected. It was like he was probing, testing boundaries, trying to understand something he shouldn't. I wanted to tell him to leave, to get out, to make this all go away. But there was something about the way he stood there, his posture, the intensity in his eyes that made me hesitate. Yeah, I finally said, my voice trembling slightly. The air between us felt suffocating, but I couldn't move. I wasn't even sure if I wanted to. There was something in the way he was looking at me, something that made my heart beat faster, something dangerously close to hunger. His gaze flicked downward for just a moment before returning to mine. I could feel the weight of it like a physical presence in the room. What was happening? Why was this so hard to ignore? I felt my skin heat up. My mind screamed for me to push him away, to stand up and break the tension. But my body refused to move. It wasn't supposed to be like this. I was just his stepmother. I had no right to feel the way I was feeling, no right to be affected by him standing there, but I couldn't shake it off. Not now. I should have told him to leave. I should have made this awkward moment disappear. But when he finally stepped forward, my whole body tensed, every nerve was on edge, my breath caught in my throat. He was close now, close enough that I could smell his cologne, close enough to feel his warmth. And that's when I knew. I knew this moment, this thing between us, was about to change everything. Why are you standing there? My voice was almost a whisper, but the question was heavy. He didn't answer immediately. Instead, his gaze softened, a hint of something unspoken passing between us. And I couldn't look away. I just needed to talk, he said, though his words didn't seem to match his actions. His eyes were speaking louder than his mouth ever could. Was this a joke, a momentary lapse, or something deeper? I didn't know. And in that moment, as the seconds stretched, I knew I was teetering on the edge of something dangerous. A moment that could either push us apart or pull us closer. And I couldn't predict what would happen next. The room felt hotter now. The air was thick, heavy with the tension that we couldn't escape. It was undeniable. There was something almost magnetic about it. Something that neither of us could ignore, no matter how hard we tried. As he took another step closer, I felt my heart racing. My mind screamed to stop, to push him away, but my body was no longer listening. I'm not sure this is a good idea, I said, almost pleading with myself, but I wasn't sure if I meant it. He stopped just inches away, and I could feel his breath on my skin. It was so close, so intimate, that I felt like I might collapse from the weight of it. Maybe it's too late for that. His voice was barely audible, a whisper that sent chills down my spine. And just like that, I knew. Nothing would ever be the same again.